Martin, good morning. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, good. Liverpool this weekend. Welcome home, first of all. Any team news ahead of the weekend?
Yeah, as you were last game, apart from Katinka and Olga come back into contention. So we'll see how they get through training today and tomorrow, and then obviously make a decision if they come through that healthy, then if they can travel. But they're back in contention. Ellen Morris is doing more on the pitch now, so she's getting a lot more closer to team training. And then it's just a longer absentee still out from that. And as I said last time, Charlie Grant's she's back doing some running now. So she's getting closer and closer. But coming into this game, everyone, and included Katinka and Olga, if they get through the next 2 days.
Having Katinka back, I mean, that must be quite exciting for you. Like, what does she bring you that maybe hasn't been there when she's absent?
Yeah, it's not what hasn't been there. I think we've been performing.
When she's not there, what does she
Yeah, I think she gives you a different profile in that front line, Megan. Aggressive, good back to goal scorer, which we have in her and Beth. But yeah, it gives you an energy and a personality up the pitch that obviously has made a big impact for us when she first come in. And it'll feel like to maybe her and maybe a little bit to the group that there's it's like a new player coming back into the group after having a spell on the sidelines.
Yeah, in Liverpool this weekend, they've made a few signings this window, so y'all, not all of them are fit, but they seem like pretty decisive, experienced signings for Liverpool. How do you weigh up the challenge this weekend?
Yeah, we know it's gonna be a tough game. It was last time we played them at Brisbane Road. They've just come off the back of a positive result against London City where they performed really well, and I don't think their performances probably have been where maybe the table shows, if I'm honest. They're in good control of games, they're possessing the ball well, they're very offensive minded, and maybe they just lack that cutting edge around the attacking third, but they're still a really good team, and we need to be at our best if we're going to take anything from the game.
Yeah, and last one, but kind of looking ahead, and apologies here for doing that, but you travel to Liverpool this weekend, then you have West Ham, and then you have Chelsea at home. Hypothetically, if y'all keep the form that you've had this season, this weekend, and Chelsea or Arsenal drop points, that Chelsea fixture at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium becomes like quite a pivotal fixture in this sort of tight top three race. Playing a game at the main stadium, like a game of that sort of stature now, what does it mean for you? Walk me kind of through the motions and the thoughts you have running through your head there.
Yeah, any game we play at the stadium, we know there's going to be a lot of publicity around it. There's going to be probably a little bit of added pressure, if you want to say. It's a big spectacle to play, obviously a London rival at the stadium, and we're excited for that game, and we want to make sure as much as we can we encourage a lot of people to come and watch us. That's usually done by performance. If you want a big crowd, you have to entertain, and we need to make sure then, obviously the Liverpool game and then anything after that, that we make sure we're performing at a high level if we want to make sure that we have people coming to the ground, and we want to make sure the fans come out and support us in that game at the stadium.
Cool. Thanks, Martin. Good luck this week.
Cheers, Megan. Thank you.
Thanks. Emma Sanders.
Yeah, hey Martin. Just sort of following up on that idea of like big games. I suppose in this block there's quite a lot of games between the other teams in the top five. So does that almost give you like a decent block to capitalise on? If you keep up your results, then you might see some movement in the table in a positive way towards yours.
Yeah, we want to just every game we come into, Emma, we want to win, and we'll push and compete to make sure we win. We need to make sure that we're consistent with that level of performance that we've shown, and if other teams play each other, then that's not something we're looking directly at. But if it goes in your favour, then you will obviously take that. But first and foremost, we have to perform at a level where we allow ourselves to be in that position and not take our eyes off or not derail ourselves from our own performances. Because as soon as you start looking elsewhere, you maybe come off the rail a little bit. And I've made sure with this group of players that we're focused on the job ahead, and that's Liverpool. And if we capitalise on making sure that's a positive performance and we get the result we want and we all want, everything else then just becomes a bonus away from that.
Just Liverpool's new signings, a lot of people, probably myself included, tend to say that kind of, new signings in January can suddenly turn around form or change things for a team. But in Liverpool's case specifically, do you think they will be quite a different team to the one that they probably were in December.
Yeah, and they've signed some really quality players and some with good experience. Denise O'Sullivan's a wonderful player and has got quality and has got a lot of experience from being in the US but has vast experience internationally, and she will definitely add a different dimension to their game on and off the pitch. And the ones they've signed away from that, the Scandinavian players, Alice and Annie Osendahl, are two wonderful players, and they've signed the Swiss girl also. And so yeah, they're going to be a different threat in terms of in that attacking third of the pitch, and they're going to be more competitive. And I don't think they've been far away from where they would expect to be. Maybe they just haven't had the rub of the green at times to get some of those results over the line. But against some of the big teams, they performed exceptionally well, and they maybe just haven't had that luck in moments. And they'll be hoping, and Gareth will be hoping that their fortune turns this side of the season, and adding some obviously additional players to the group might bring a different energy and a different aura.
All the best. Thanks, Martin.
Cheers, Emma. Thank you.
Thanks, Emma. Chris Cowling.
Hi, Martin. Hope you're well. Of course, another good win last weekend. Through to the fifth round of the FA Cup. Now you play London City. Just get your reaction on that.
Yeah, you have to beat who's in front of you, and London City appears now, and we have to beat them, and you have to beat everyone along the way to win the competition. They're a wonderful team. They've got a new head coach, so they've probably got a slightly different identity to what they had under the previous coach. But yeah, when that game comes around, we'll make sure that we're prepared, we're ready, and we go into that game going to win it.
Martin, of course, everything is hugely positive at Spurs Women at the moment, but what's been the biggest challenge for you personally so far this season?
I wouldn't say, obviously, the whole job is a challenge in general, because you don't want to disappoint, you don't want to lose, you want to make sure your environment, your energy is positive. We need to make sure that we consistently perform, and the players individually and collectively are developing and growing in terms of how we want them to. The club, the infrastructure around me is growing. Commercially, the club's being recognised more. Those aspects obviously add a little bit more of a challenge, but it's a challenge I embrace and I warrant, and I want to make sure now that we can continue to build this club into not just something domestically in England, but also on a European stage.
Can I just ask you about Martha Thomas? Of course, she's gone out on loan to Liverpool. Is she allowed to play in this game?
No, she won't be able to play on the game on the weekend. Because against your parent club, there's obviously a clause in there that don't allow you to.
Lastly, how important is it? Of course, you've got two games before it, but the game at the stadium, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium against Chelsea, how important is it that the fans come and support in such a huge game? Yeah,
you want as many fans there as possible. We want to make, whether it's Brisbane Road or it's the stadium, we want to make it as hostile as possible, and I've alluded to that quite a lot before. Making sure that we can entertain the fans, and by entertainment, you obviously keep people coming back to watch you. And I know the fans have supported us really, really well in this first part of the season, and now going to 26. I want to make sure we can build that fan base even further, and what an opportunity to do that at the stadium against Chelsea, where it's a game against a London rival. It's a big one in terms of for the city in general. I want to make sure that the players get a really loud and energetic fan base behind them to help them pull through the game.
Best of luck. Thanks, Martin.
Cheers, Chris. Thank you.
Helen Jerome.
Hi, Martin. How are you?
Good, Helen. How are you?
Super duper. All the better for seeing you. Okay, enough of that. Sorry. I just have to make sure. So, you mentioned about all the signings that Liverpool have made, and everyone's been talking about it, but the one that impressed me most was I went to the London Liverpool game, and Alice Bergstrom came on as a sub, and she scored two of the best goals I've ever seen in 2 minutes. What do you think about her?
Yeah, wonderful player. Has a lot of experience in terms of in senior football back in Sweden, but also has international experience on the 23s level, and also has had recognition at senior level. So, as a wonderful player, and they've recruited a player with vast experience, as I said, in football for such a young age. So, I have no doubt she's gonna be a key player for them moving forward. She's definitely going to be a player in the game that we're going to have to be watchful of, and make sure that we can limit her strengths. But she's in the game. She's obviously been in. We've seen the games, we've watched them, and she's performed well for them in a position that she's not really familiar to.
Brilliant. And the other thing that has sort of struck me is every week we say this about Spurs being this week. Like every week we say, "Oh, what a surprise!" And it seems to have got beyond that thing now, and we shouldn't be surprised. Everyone's expecting you to slip up every week and go back to the old Spurs, but it feels to me like there's a whole different vibe this season.
Yeah, and I think maybe if we're looking in terms of where we was, which is a fact, where we finished last year, you can't change that. I'd understand why there's some kind of apprehension around the team, the performance and so on. We've now moved in a totally different direction, and we've hopefully brought a new energy and a kind of passion and desire for this team on and off the pitch. And now I hope that we've spoken about in that breadth, and that's credit to the staff and players who I work with every day, that they're able to put this team in that position where we spoke about in terms of teams. People want you to slip up. You now have more of a target on your back, Helen, if you want to say that. People are expecting you to perform. People are expecting you to win. And that's where Spurs should be spoken about. We should be spoken about in those conversations. We shouldn't be a team that's spoken about in relegation. And I'll make sure that we're not while I'm here. We need to be competing on all fronts for competitions and for honours. And moving forward now, we have to, as I always say, build on performance and find the consistency. But we have to also take that added pressure that comes with wearing a Spurs shirt. And the players definitely know that.
Because it seems to me like when you came, you expected to build something, and it's happening maybe a little bit faster than you expected.
Yeah, definitely. I think you don't expect so much change so quick. What I do expect is a commitment and a passion and a desire from the players to be better and to prove people wrong and to want to win for the football club. And we've definitely seen that. So there's no doubt in terms of the ability and quality of the players. It's more that you maybe don't expect so much change from the position we were in. But while you're there, you have to give huge plaudits, as I said, to the players and the work they do, the staff and the work they do behind the scenes that goes unnoticed maybe. So yeah, I'm not kind of about that situation. I'm not kind of a little bit kind of unsure that we were gonna go so far, but I am definitely sure that we were going in the right direction with the work we were putting in.
Brilliant. Thanks very much. Good luck at the weekend.
Cheers, Helen. Thank you.
Dan Pentland.
Martin, hope you're well.
I'm good, thank you.
Just off the back of that, I just wonder how you're going to kind of manage expectancy going forward, because it is a case, as Alan said, it's gone from where you're at bottom of the table or towards the bottom, you've come in, and now you're almost expected to win every game. You've got a chance against every opponent. Yeah,
as I said then to Helen, as a club and as Tottenham Hotspur, we should be wanting to win, and we should have a target on our back. We should be spoken about in the right way about what we should expect from a Tottenham team and a Tottenham women's team, and I want to make sure that we are speaking about that. I think maybe for previous we've been spoken about slightly different, but I don't want to always look at the past. It's in the past for the reason. We need to focus on what we're doing now, and we're in a good spell. We need to make sure we stay in that. We embrace the added pressure. We embrace that we're being spoken about in that way. That teams want to come and beat us, and we should embrace those moments when we go into these games to hopefully we come out on top with good performance. And moving forward, we have to make sure, because if you want to go and compete for honours, you want to be in European football, and you have to take this added pressure that comes with it.
Obviously, you've got a real chance as things stand for top three. I'm sure you want to look beyond the weekend, but I just wonder how much of a difference will it make, for the club finishing third and not fourth, in terms of recruitment, attracting the right players, developing the team going forward. How big could top three be for you if you can achieve it?
Just your team being successful then helps all of those aspects: recruitment, confidence, belief, growth, development. All those aspects are impacted vastly with how you perform and what you do as a team and what you do as an individual. And yeah, you have to manage expectations because we're only 5-6 months into terms of the direction we're going to move in. We need to not get carried away, and we need to keep our feet grounded and be realistic with that. But while we're in a position where we're pushing on each individual game, we'll know by when we're 2 to 3 games out where we've got a chance of moving to. But this is an opportunity for us now to keep building confidence in the group and keep performing, but also not taking our eye off in terms of the ambitions and the project we're embarking on now. And that takes time to build. You have to build a winning team. That takes time. It doesn't happen straight away. And I'm not delusional to that. But you never want to take away the credit that the players and staff deserve in terms of what they've done in this first part of the season.
Brilliant. Thanks for that, Martin. Best of luck for the weekend. Thank you.
Cheers, Dan. Thank you.
Alia.
Hey Martin, just for me. Last weekend, a dominant 3-0 win against Leicester in the FA Cup. What pleased you the most about this match, and how are you going to ensure that the team can keep producing big and exciting wins like that?
Yeah, it was exciting in numerous ways. Players making their debuts and able to sustain performance for longer periods of the game over the course of 90 minutes and playing some really good football, players connecting better, relationships being built more, and obviously scoring more than the one goal we scored the week before, implementing the learnings we took from that first game and applying them, and then giving the fans something to cheer about, but also keeping a clean sheet, which is something we're really pride ourselves on.
Yeah, all the new signings have made their debuts now. What have you made of their performances so far, and how important are they going to be for your aims the rest of the season? Yeah,
they've made their debuts and they've deserved those debuts. They haven't just been given, and I've made that very clear that those positions where those players play in those wider forward positions or those full-back positions, it's where a lot of our pressing intent comes from, and you need to make sure that they're refreshed. And yeah, Matilda, Hannah, Julia, and then Micah made their first start in terms of debut, but they've been impactful on the group and how we play, how we can evolve, how we become more unpredictable with how we want to approach games tactically. So yeah, I'm very happy for them. I'm delighted for them, and maybe it takes a little bit of that pressure off the shoulders making their debut.
Yeah, and then the very real possibility of moving into the top 3 this weekend. Is that kind of extra motivation to win on Sunday? And should that happen, are you confident that your team can stay there? And can you maintain that?
Yeah, as I said, we will focus on ourselves. What we control is our performance. Anything else that happens around it becomes, the responsibility of the teams and becomes a bonus to us as a team. So if we keep performing the way we can, we know that we have to be at our best. There's no game in this league that is a given. Every league game now is really competitive, and these last 10 games now we have to make sure we push, and what we put into the game we will get out of it in results, and we only control that. And if that puts us in positions further up the table, then brilliant. If it doesn't, then we have to make sure we reassess. We don't get too highs with highs, we don't get too lows with lows, because we've made a lot of progress, and there's a long way ahead of us in terms of this project and journey we're on.